Hello, Jai Shri Krishna, Namaste. So my presentation means basically, I hope everybody has seen Simon Sinek ka जो three golden circles are there. It's about why, how, and what. Indian obviously edit, copy paste करने में master हूँ. तो उनके circle को ही मैंने edit कर दिया है, and I added my points in this one. It's about who, why, what. There is a special dot that's turning point for me, and how, and some other key points for me. Again, since अमेरिका में बहुत सू सिस्टम चलता है, छोटी बात के लिए भी सू कर देते हैं. So the disclaimer plays an important role. डॉक्टर मेडिसिन बाद में देगा, पहले डिस्क्लेमर देगा कि he is not held responsible for anything. Same for me. This presentation और ये जो मैं प्रेजेंट कर रहा हूँ ये दादा के साइंस के लिए दे रहा हूँ, and to show कि if a 65-year-old man can fight with COVID, anybody and everybody can and should fight for it. So my first W starts with who. Let me introduce myself. I am Mital Patel. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. That's my family, my mom, dad, my beautiful wife. She must be watching, that's why I have to say beautiful. And my naughty son. My dad, if I talk about my dad, means he always, every 6 months he visits US, and 6 months he lives in Canada, comes back to US, and then comes to India for 6 months. That man has never applied, before November 2020, that man has never applied even the Vicks vapor on his body. No medicine. He takes regular 5 miles walk, even when it's in US, when even it's cold or hot, doesn't matter. Means he used to that much take care of his health. But now the question is why? Why I am here? I am here to show my dad. From November, that's the picture we took on November 2020, and that's the picture from May 2021. Means the whole hospital, means my dad got a walk of fame from the hospital because he lived in that hospital for 175 days. That too completely on ventilator and dialysis support. Throughout his, not 6 months, I would say 5 months, 5.5 months. He was fully on the support system. What happened? So this is the chronology what happened. My dad was with me since January 2020, and when in March the COVID broke out, we took all the precautionary steps. But towards December we were planning that, okay, that now it's overstay here, you need to go back. And we booked his tickets for 12th of December. Luckily for that year, luckily, or I should say unluckily, the Diwali was on 15th of November. So I was like that, since you'll be going next month, let's celebrate Diwali with us. And out of overexcitement, I called few friends. Those few friends called their few friends at my home. And it ended up maybe around 15-20 families at my home for the Diwali celebration. Unknowingly, from somewhere, somehow, our whole family got COVID positive. My mom, my dad, me, my wife, and my son. Trust me, guys, means, looking at my dad's history, in America, everything is decided upon the credit history. How long good you have been doing things, depending on that, your future will be decided. So for my dad, we were not at all worried. Means, I was worried about me because I had some bad habits that impacts my lungs, and I was worried about me. I was worried about my mom because she has a heart condition. For my dad, we were not at all worried. So, and hearing all the news and everything about the COVID, what we did was, we isolated ourselves, we quarantined ourselves, we took the Gada and turmeric milk, and those steps we took. But on 27th November, my dad's situation got worse. Both my dad and mom. So we took him to the local clinic because we knew that hospitals were packed. At the clinic when we went, the nurse checked my dad's oxygen level, and it was in 60s. So nurse got panicked, and it was a small clinic. She called the doctor and she told his oxygen level is in 60s, what should we do? they called me and they told me that your dad, the situation is very critical, you need to take him to the hospital. I was like, how can I take him to the hospital? What will be the next step for me? Even I was living in US for 16 years, by God's grace, we never been to any doctor, so I had no clue what will be the next doctor's procedure. So doctor told that you have two options. In your car, you can take your dad to the hospital, or you can call ambulance at the clinic and they can take your dad to the hospital. I was like, option two. Immediately, they gave him a 30-liter oxygen, took him to the hospital. I was with my dad. We both were chilling. And my mom, my wife took her in a separate room. You won't believe, my dad got thirsty, so he asked for water or soda or something. So that nurse, she just brought 1 cup of glass. And me and my dad were like, my dad was like, she didn't brought it for you. Maybe she likes me more. So I was like, Dad, we are in hospital, let's be serious. If you want to share the cup, let's share it. But the thing was that we were not even serious at that moment. We were having fun conversation. But at the night, means, as per the hospital policy, they didn't let us in. So they told that you have to go home. Any updates will be given over the phone only. During that time frame, within 2 hours, I remember, this doctor told me to sign certain papers and everything. I didn't have any clue what were the papers for. But the treatment, my dad, within 2 hours of the hospitalization, he started getting all the known, I would say methods, not medicine, but the methods that are known to the doctor, the treatments were given to my dad. He was given the plasma membrane, he was given the remdesivir, everything was started right away. And doctor told that, yeah, it's a serious, but we have given the medicine, so your dad should be fine. So we were like, okay, tomorrow he might will get discharged. But in the next day, doctor called and told that your dad's situation is getting worse now. So earlier he was on just a pipe, now he went on the BiPAP. So BiPAP means I didn't know what the BiPAP was, so we googled it and found out it's a big mask and the full force of wind, oxygen comes into it's blown on your face. But still doctor told that yeah, BiPAP is also fine, means just wait for a couple of days, your dad will get recovery. Days went by and we didn't know what next steps to be done. Doctors were constantly giving us update that yeah, the situation is serious, we are giving medicine, but he will get all right. Even on the 10th of December, it was his 69th birthday, and we sent a cake to the hospital. A nurse took that cake to my dad cut it, and he was showing all the positive signs. Even though he was on the BiPAP and everything, but he was talking in the sign language to us. Now the situation after that, means on 15th December, yeah, he was taken off the ventilator, and on 17th, I was first time allowed to meet my dad. Trust me, I'm a person who doesn't get scared easily. But going at the hospital on the 17th December was the most scariest evening, I would say. The room was full of all the machines. My dad was on ventilator, the ventilator was started. He was also put on CCRT, that's continuous dialysis. He was fed through stomach, so 2 pipes were there. Other was for excretion, 2 pipes were there. And it was a small room, and it was with all the machines, constant noise, and my dad was completely unconscious. From that day, like Rohit Das said, right, the guilt started building up. I was like, oh man, because of me, because of that silly Diwali party, I'm seeing my dad in this situation. The days after that, means they were from worst to worst, triple worst, and ever worst were coming up. There was a day, I remember, 16th of January, at 7 a.m. I got a call from doctor, and doctor told that your dad is having only 2 hours to live. You can come to the hospital and say your final bye to him. So I couldn't tell my mom. My mom was discharged, but because of her heart condition, I couldn't tell her. So me and my wife, we just went to the hospital. We went into the room. dad was completely, if you can see the picture. So 27th November, 10th December, 6th. And the 14th January was the day, means dad was completely, his hands were swollen, legs were swollen, means anybody could say that this is his last time going on. I won't be on this picture more. Yeah. So we went in the room. I took one of my friend. He was sitting outside. Me and my wife were inside with my dad in my dad's room. We FaceTimed my sister. She was in Canada. My other relatives in India. So we called everybody FaceTime, and we were telling everybody that this would be your last darshan of my dad. He can pass away anytime now. Doctor have put him on a tranquilizer, means he was completely paralyzed. So and physically nothing was done through his body. Everything was done through the machines only. Maybe we were so much into that call that we didn't realize that my friend from outside, he was constantly calling me. So I thought because maybe it's lunchtime, he's asking permission that can I go for lunch or not. So I just picked up a call and I told, hey dude, if you want to go for lunch, go. Means I'm on a FaceTime call with my family. But my friend was so nice. Means he calmly told me that, Mital, it's not because I'm hungry, I want to go out for lunch, but it's been 4 hours, you are inside the room and we don't know what's going inside. So I was like, 4 hours? Doctors told us that it's 2 hours only. So immediately I came out of the room and I shouted at the doctor, Doctor, my dad is still alive. How can you tell that it was 2 hours? So doctor told that, means even they were correct at their position, that they give the estimate that this is how long he can sustain with all the machines. But it's up to you how much you want to continue. Means at that time they started giving me option of comfort care. Means those of you who doesn't know, comfort care is like basically pulling out the plug and let the natural course happen to my dad. So doctors told me that, yeah, this is the estimate we give. We cannot be solid 2 hours, means that means 2 hours. I was so frustrated, I was so mad, I was so tired that I told, Doctor, it's not a distance, means your time you're approximately giving it. It's about life and death. At that time, doctor told me, Mital, calm down. I know you are emotional, but you are trying to push the inevitable. I didn't understood what does that mean. How am I pushing the inevitable? So the doctor told me that you are seeing your dad is in miserable condition. Why are you not pulling out the plug? Why you are not allowing nature to go on its own? At that time I realized, am I doing the right thing or not? So I just went to my dad, I stood up next to him, me and my wife, and I just observed him. I got a positive vibe from him that he will fight. I didn't want to be the part where I become the murderer, I would say. Because in that case, yes, if I get that vibe, yes, I'm ready to pull. But I wasn't getting the vibe from my dad that he wants to die that easily. From that day onwards, I'll just move forward till February. Everything was like in a short, I would say 10 by 10 room. Me and my wife were sitting in a room. We were surrounded by 17 or 18 doctors. And the doctors were like, we have tried giving him all the medicine. His lungs are opaque. So lungs is the only organ that's opaque, that's not good sign. Even if we release your dad from the hospital, for the lifelong he will be on a ventilator support and he will be on a dialysis need. If you see logically, dialysis cannot happen at home. Means I have to take him to some center to get dialysis. Ventilator means he was in constant need. So both things cannot go hand to hand. Means I cannot carry ventilator which is plugged into the power plug and take him for the dialysis also. So the doctors were right on their part. They were telling that, why are you punishing your dad? Let him go. I was like, no, he's my dad, I'll fight for him. But what was the solution? Nothing. Means I didn't have anything. Means there was no door that I haven't knocked at. Means we used to go to all temples, we met all saints, we asked for all their blessings. We tried each and every way. But from doctor's perspective, they are right that, yeah, means I had to make a decision at some point. Exactly on March 20th, I met two of my friends. Because these two friends were like, they were my go-to friends. I don't chill with them much, but they are like, when I want to take out my frustration, I call them and we just, I would say we just vomit out each other. So that was the time. Means, I called Parag, my Parag bhai, Keyur bhai, and one of my friends was Mukesh bhai. It was pretty much late in the night, means, from the American standpoint, EST time zone, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. And I called them just to make sure that what I'm doing is right. The next day, I was going to hospital and I was going to tell them, pull out the plug. This would be the last day for my dad. I still remember, Parag bhai told me, Mital bhai, Papa ne evi rite na jawa devai. In Hindi means, you cannot let your dad go that easily. Let's try one person, he might help. So he immediately called Rohit Dada, and I explained everything, the whole situation to Dada, that over the phone only. Ki Dada, Papa ko COVID hai, he has a fibrosis, unka lungs pura opaque hai. So Dada, I was asking ki kitna percent damage hai. So I told Dada ki Dada, this is the same question I have been asking doctors from past 3 months. I didn't got the answer because there is no medical device that can accurately measure the capacity of the lungs. तो दादा ने कहा ठीक है, फोटो भेज दो, मैं देखता हूँ क्या करना है. So immediately, I had the picture of my dad. I sent him. दादा ने बोला कि he will also need a DNA, but he told that DNA मुझे बाद में भेजना. Let me analyze the picture first. Next day, दादा का कॉल आया. And नहीं, मैंने किया था दादा को कॉल. Means I called Parag ji and Parag ji को बोला कि मैं हॉस्पिटल जा रहा हूँ. Did you got any word from Rohit Dada? He was like, no, I didn't got anything. Let's call him and let's ask for the update. So we called Dada, and Dada ने बोला कि मैंने केस पूरा देखा, and your dad doesn't need dialysis. His kidneys are fine. For a moment, I was like, rock, stop. Means what's going on? Should I trust him? Because I never heard of healing or this occult science or even about Dada. Means for me in Gujarati, Dada means we call Dada as our granddad. So I was like some old Dada or somebody will be there. I didn't saw his picture or anything. So, but Parag ji ne mujhe bola कि Mital, trust on Rohit Dada, things will work out. Just give him a chance. तो मैंने ठीक है. Even I had no hope. So even a feather would help me. So I was like, ठीक है, I'll try to convince doctors, I'll buy more time, let Dada start work on my case. Luckily, that week only, I think Parag bhai या उनके wife India जा रहे थे. नहीं, उनके friend जा रहे थे, yes. तो उसी रात को मैंने जाके पापा का hospital से, means first of all, the difficult part was getting into the hospital. Because of the COVID restrictions, nobody was allowed to enter into the hospital. अब DNA कैसे निकालूं पापा का? Luckily, I thought of a thing कि पापा का shaving means he had a long beard, बाल भी बड़े हो गए थे. I requested doctor and nurse कि can somebody just shave my dad? With this face, he's very ugly. तो उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, as per the procedure, since my dad is on blood thinner, we cannot shave him because even a small cut can result into bleeding into the death. तो मैंने आपको नहीं करना तो मैं आके कर लेता हूँ. No worries. So the doctors were like, how can he enter the hospital? And बड़े procedures हुए थे. They made me sign documents. They told me that you have to bring your own mask, you have to bring your own PPE kit. तो ही तुमको enter होने देंगे. And if tomorrow, if you get COVID positive, hospital won't be responsible. I was like, okay, I'll sign everything, blah, blah, blah. I went, I shaved my dad, I made sure I got the DNA from him, and I sent to Dada. That was on the March 21st. Now the important part, the change that happened, it's how. So Rohit Dada started working on my dad's case from 20th March. दादा ने healing किया, वहाँ से grid किया, DNA दिया. To me still, I was maybe, I would say 40% confident on Dada and his science and everything. The worst thing was on 30th March. मैं पापा के बाजू में बैठा था and my dad's body started shaking. It's normally हाथ हिलता है, पाँव हिलता है, body bend होता है, but पापा का पूरा body हिलने लगा. As a straight like a, I have to use that word, but it was like a dead body. पूरा body उछलने लगा. तो मुझे दादा पे जो विश्वास नहीं था, वो और कंफर्म हो गया. So I called up पराग भाई और मैं उनको बोला कि आप दादा तो केस संभाल रहे थे, ये क्या हो गया? मैंने दादा को कॉल किया. Luckily that means not luckily, but during that time frame, दादा was available to me 24/7. रात को इंडिया के 3 बजे हो, 4 बजे हो, doesn't matter. If I call him, he used to make sure he used to pick my call and immediately work on it. तो बोला दादा पापा को पूरा बॉडी ऐसे हिलने लगा. So दादा was like ग्रिड तो सेट किया है मैंने. Let me check what's going on. उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डे दादा ने बोला कि send me the picture of the hospital also. So जो पराग भाई ने जो बात किया, जियो स्ट्रेस, geopathic stress, Dada could identify that thing in the hospital. So even though the healing was working on his body, but जो ये geostatic जो stress था, that was still impacting my dad's body. Dada ने कहा, don't worry, I'll start working on it. Next day, from next day, he started working on that stress management also. पापा का level ऐसा हो गया था कि the respiratory rates, normally per minute it's 12 to 17 respiratories. It's the amount of time we breathe in and out. In a minute it's 12 to 17. But my dad was Usain Bolt, वो 70-80 पे चल रहे थे. So the doctors were like कि ये continuous breathe करेंगे तो his lungs will collapse. But my dad was no way he was stopping. He was, because of the lungs condition, उनका respiratory rate down ही नहीं हो रहा था. दादा को मैंने बोला कि दादा, this is the thing, let's start working on his oxygen thing. दादा ने बोला yeah, we will work on it. Let's start working on first the dialysis part of it. I was like दादा lungs ज़्यादा important है, kidneys चलेगा बाद में भी मैं dialysis करवा लूँगा. दादा बोले कि नहीं, it has to go step by step. On one side I was getting impatient, but Dada was taking the case so patiently. Dialysis धीरे धीरे दादा ने जो बोला, that started working from April, from the month of April. So from continuous dialysis, means from 24-hour dialysis, my dad was moved to 3 times a week. Later on, once in a week. अब dialysis कम हुआ, तो automatic जो ventilator का जो wean down system होता है. So weaning down is, so first the ventilator pressure is at 8. They try to wean it down to 6, 4, 2, 1. After that, they take it out the ventilator. But because of the dialysis and the ventilator complication, my dad was never, I shouldn't say never, but he was able to get back out of the ventilator. But Dada, what he did is, with the CRT, the dialysis निकाल दिया. अब दादा बोले कि now we'll start focusing on the ventilator part of him. Doctors, nurses, everybody was surprised कि ये wean down process, how can my dad is able, उसको झेल कैसे रहे हैं? I was like, तब मुझे दादा पे, now I'm 95% assured कि नहीं, दादा का science works. Still 5% I was in a dilemma. हम लोगों को every week, me and my wife, doctors used to call, still going on. वो जो procedure था comfort care का, that was still going on. So I was like, let me again test दादा. मैंने दादा को बोला, दादा ये hospital वाले हमको every week बुलाते हैं, and they pressurize us for the comfort care option. They are trying कि dad को जल्दी से, obviously since there was no medicine, they couldn't keep one bed occupied for the person who is not able to cure, versus a young person who will be able to get cured. तो मैं दादा को लगा दादा प्रेशर कर रहे हैं, कैन यू डू समथिंग अबाउट इट? दादा ने कहा ठीक है, यू गो फॉर द मीटिंग, तेरे को ये चीज पूछेंगे, जस्ट से यस 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 एंड कम आउट ऑफ इट. मैं और मेरी वाइफ नॉर्मली व्हेनेवर वी गो टू दिस मीटिंग वी हैव आवर ओन चैट सेशन कि क्या बोलना है, क्या करना है, वी प्लान इट आउट. और अमेरिकन्स का एक इतना अच्छा होता है कि इफ दे सी टीयर्स दे विल स्टॉप पुशिंग. तो मेरी वाइफ शी वाज ऑलवेज ऑन अ रिमोट कंट्रोल मोड. जब मेरी बातें, जब मेरा कन्विंसिंग हो जाता है, आई लुक एट माय वाइफ, शी विल स्टार्ट क्राइंग. सो दैट एंड्स द कन्वर्सेशन. So this is all we used to do. मेगा start. गुजराती में बोलता था रड, तो वो रोना स्टार्ट कर दे. लेकिन we had no option. We want to buy time. We saw कि दादा's thing is working. We just want to buy more time out of it. But दादा ने वो बोला कि मीटिंग में जाओ, ये करो, it will be done. That was the first meeting कि my wife came out of that meeting without any tears. मुझे भी खुशी है कि चलो मैं आज रुलाया नहीं वाइफ को. बट फ्रॉम दैट डे दैट माय 95% ऑफ फेथ इंक्रीज टू 98%. दिस इज ह्यूमन मींस मेरी साइकोलॉजी है. आई एम बाय प्रोफेशन आई एम अ क्यू इंजीनियर. टेस्टिंग करना, सॉफ्टवेयर डिफेक्ट्स ढूंढना इज माय ब्रेड एंड बटर आई वुड से. तो दादा को मैं एंड मोमेंट तक टेस्ट कर रहा था. वेंटिलेटर तो नहीं निकलेगा, वो डिफिकल्ट है. पापा के लंग्स मैंने व्हाट दे कॉल सम मशीन की, उसमें दिखता है डॉक्टर यू रिमेंबर स्कैन, सीटी स्कैन, या सीटी स्कैन दे डू, उसमें लंग्स पूरे वाइट दिख रहे हैं. मैं दादा वेंटिलेटर निकालना है जल्दी. सो दादा वाज लाइक मित्तल रिलैक्स, इट विल बी गेटिंग डन, इट विल टेक टाइम, हीलिंग प्रोसेस टेक्स टाइम. वो मुझे हमेशा एक एग्जांपल देते थे कि तेरे को खांसी होती है, तो अगर बाहर जाके मेडिसिन ले लेगा तो ये खांसी मिट जाएगी फॉर दैट मोमेंट, बट दैट मेडिसिन विल हैव साइड इफेक्ट. बट इफ यू ड्रिंक दैट हल्दी का मिल्क, दैट प्रोसेस इज स्लो, बट योर कफ विल बी आउट ऑफ योर चेस्ट फॉर अ लॉन्गर टाइम. हीलिंग इज द सेम थिंग. इट माइट टेक टाइम, बट वंस इट किक्स इन, यू डोंट हैव टू वरी फॉर द नेक्स्ट स्टेप. बोले ठीक है दादा, लेट्स सी. On 10th of May, I still remember that day. My dad was able to breathe on that pipe without any ventilator. Ventilator ऐसे कर दिया था. If you see on the April 10th, he got a tracheostomy. कि वेंटिलेटर का पाइप सीधा गले में से छेद करके उनके लंग्स में डाल दिया था. Because they knew he will be lifelong on a ventilator support. But if you see on May 11th, he's back on the pipe. 21st May, means I think on 18th May, we again had a meeting with the doctors. तो मैं तुरंत दादा को फोन किया, दादा डॉक्टर ने मीटिंग बुलाया है, क्या करना है मुझे? मित्तल डोंट वरी, गो टू द मीटिंग. They will discuss about the discharge plan of your dad. मेरा क्या बात कर रहे हो दादा? अभी भी मैं फेथ में 98% ही हूँ. और दादा ने बोला कि they will talk about the discharge plan. I was like, okay, let's see. गए मीटिंग में, डॉक्टर्स वर देयर, एंड नॉर्मली क्या होता था कि few doctors will come, few doctors, some representatives will come. But on that day, the whole doctor team was there and they were like, we don't know how it is going this way, but your dad is recovering well. Unke lungs, they are kicking back. Kidneys are kicking back. Means kidneys तो already हो गया था. I still remember, जो kidney का doctor था, he was from Bangladesh. तो पापा को देखता था तो he used to always talk in Hindi. और वो हमेशा आके बोलता था, पटेल साहब, मैं गुर्दों का डॉक्टर हूँ. ये मूवी का डायलॉग है ना, मैं ये हूँ. He used to always address my dad कि मैं गुर्दों का डॉक्टर हूँ. पापा जब 21st मई को डिस्चार्ज हुए हॉस्पिटल से, his discharge time was at 11 a.m. That doctor came at 11:05 and he told that I cannot sign on the discharge paper. I still need to collect his urine sample. I cannot believe he can be out of dialysis. पापा को जो फर्स्ट डे की जो नर्स थी, she came to meet my dad. If you see the last picture, the whole doctor team and everybody is there. Nurse came in and she told कि Mr. Patel, how can you come out of ventilator? Or if you see the proportion of the time, so my dad was hospitalized in November, so December, January, February, 3 months he was under completely doctor's care. And that hospital was one of the best hospitals in US. They have treated so many COVID patients. Successfully, I would say successfully cured so many COVID patients. My dad was just one-off case, like me. But the thing was कि सब nurse मिलने आई पापा को, and he got a walk of fame. So almost यहाँ से वो wall है, double the size was the corridor. All nurses were standing in line. पापा को बीच में से बारात निकालते हैं, वैसे happily we took him out. Now, yes, I am at 100% belief of Rohit Roy and his occult science. This one was from the June month. Means my dad, he stood up for the first time from the wheelchair. So when we left the hospital, he was just on a small oxygen pipe. But because of so much time in bed, he could not, his physical strength has gone to 0. So this was the first time when he stood on his own legs. Unfortunately, the video is not getting played, but that was the idea to show. Next one is again my mom's birthday that we celebrated in 2020. My dad got COVID, but on 2021, they were both together. My dad without any oxygen pipe, cutting a cake for her. And this is the most recent picture, 2023. We took this mugshot before this seminar. So, yeah, that 175 days of journey. My takeaway, after getting 100% my battery charge for Dada, my 100% faith on Dada. The first thing is, Dada has never told that he's doing some magic or is doing anything. What he always told me, it's his science that is working. It's his Guruji's blessing that is working. So that is the Hindu science. I was like, then after I started getting deeper into his subject, like Dada, what you do and everything. So Dada was like, hey, we get the dowser. Because I used to ask Parag bhai. So Parag bhai मुझे गुजराती में समझा देते हैं. Mital, you remember back in old days to find the water, we used to get the dowser. So yeah, that same thing we do. So I was like, okay, yeah, I believe in that. That was the part of our Hindu science. Same thing Dada does, but for me, it worked on a health ground for my dad. So yes, my takeaway was believe in his science. The second most important thing was the proper reporting. Proper reporting means, I remember, whenever we go to the doctor for any ailment, they will ask us to get some reports. So we go outside, get our blood tested or urine test or whatever test is done. It will take a couple of hours, the reports will get generated, it is sent to the doctor, and doctor will analyze and then will give the proper medicine for that. So it might take, in few situations, from couple of hours to couple of days, depending on the severity. But with Dada I had observed, means sitting next to my dad, I always watch the monitor. Monitor, even my sister, she came from Canada and she was like, I hate this monitor, looking at those numbers. But वो number में जरा भी oxygen कम होता था. So even though on ventilator, from 99, sometimes his oxygen used to drop to 60s or 70s when he cough or anything. I immediately used to text Dada, oxygen कम हो रहा है. So Dada used to immediately tell me that, Mital, now you have to report me each minute. I still remember कि Dada used to bring that oxygen level back to 99 within minutes. Not hours, not days. It used to be done in minutes. That was, yes, 99% of the efforts were done by Dada, sitting here working on the grid. But the 1%, my 1 cent was a proper reporting, each minute to minute reporting. And of course, our best faith in our God, that always is needed for each and every situation. Again, hopefully this video works. No? Okay, it's not working. But it's a long chat between me and Dada, reporting each minute, few hourly, daily, everything. So all I want to say is that, Dada, thank you for your help. And I'm still with my dad without any guilt. Thank you.
And thanks Parag ji, Keur ji and Nugesh ji to recommend this case to me, and I could get the chance to work on it. So हम लोग हमेशा ये सोचते हैं कि किसी ने किसी को पैसा दे दिया तो बहुत कुछ हो गया, लेकिन मैं बोलूँगा सबसे ज़्यादा है कि कोई किसी को अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है तो सबसे ज़्यादा बड़ा होता है. तो मेरे लिए Parag ji is big, biggest maybe. For this reason, he believed my subject and allowed to work this extremely critical case. I must say, Parag bhai, you conclude this case and say 2 words.
I think the most important thing is thanking you all. Took that patience, especially I did not disturb Mital, it was long, but it was so emotional. Me, him, other friends. It took us 2.5 months. It was like a gas chamber. I was feeling it. You can imagine how Mital would have felt. Funeral was planned twice for Dad. You know, and from there, I mean, we had no hope. When he met us on 21st of March, you know why we met? He says, Parag, you know, I need help. Tomorrow I'm going to pull the plug. It's the hardest thing I'm going to do in my life. So, I mean, and I've seen every single step, you know, I was involved. So I've seen that. And whatever I mentioned, right from dowsing to managing the geomagnetic stress and to the frequency healing, all of that we've experienced in this one single case. And today you see that, you know, I just spoke to him yesterday and he was like, you know, I wish I would have been here. So, Lion Papa ko, he's in good shape. He lives in near Anand in Gujarat now. But thank you all. You know, the conclude pieces, this is pure science. This is pure science. It is no magic, whatever kind people may call. I've been experiencing for 10 years. If you have the faith, I'll tell you a very important thing. Keur, I met Mital through Keur. Keur, Dada was working on a couple of things. Somewhere down the line, he lost faith. Somewhere. You know, he thought that something, you know, Dada is doing, it's not working. Trust me, if you have the faith, it works. He realized in 4 months, you know, he said, it was my mistake, I lost it. It's all about, I call the word is samarpan. If you have the samarpan, things are going to happen. You want to have belief and the trust in this open science. That's what it is. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
And lastly, एक चीज़ मैं बताऊँगा जो मेरे लिए कन्विंस करना कभी-कभी डिफिकल्ट होता है. अमेरिका से मित्तल जी उनका डैडी को लेके इंडिया आए आनंद में. तो वो जगह पे और मैं देख रहा हूँ दोनों का जियोपैथिक स्ट्रेस लेवल इज कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट. ये बहुत बड़ा जार्क होता है, लेकिन क्या होता है हर चीज़ में कुछ ना कुछ फिनेंशियल मैटर भी लिंक करता है. मेरे लिए एक हेजिटेशन था इनको बोलना कि यू हैव टू स्पेंड समथिंग बिकॉज आई नीड टू डू समथिंग फॉर योर हाउस इन आनंद ऑल्सो. तो आई डिस्कस टू पराग जी एंड रिक्वेस्टेड मित्तल कि प्लीज मित्तल इफ यू अलाउ मी आई हैव टू डू इट बिकॉज अगर मतलब हवाई जहाज जब लैंडिंग करता है, जब प्लेन लैंडिंग करता है, वो जार्किंग होगा तो एक्सीडेंट भी हो सकता है. तो मुझे स्मूथ लैंडिंग करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. So he said, no question, I believe 100% to you. You do that. I did that, and believe me, please come. Believe me, it was a smooth landing. और उनको मम्मी के गोदी में वो जिस तरह से बैठे, जैसा एक छोटा सा बच्चा उनके मम्मी की गोदी में बैठता है. You can say.
सॉरी, लंबा नहीं करना है, एक छोटी बात बतानी है. हॉस्पिटल का बिल आया था $3.3 million. That's close to 20. और दादा ने जो फीस बोला कि ज़्यादा चाहिए, it was in thousands only, in dollars. So that's the difference. कि दादा is way cheaper, way reliable, and his thing always works.